I have a question. It's probably the most inquisitive question that I've ever asked in the history of the Nobody Asked for This podcast, which I believe as of this episode coming out would be 107 episodes-ish. And here it comes the question. What the hell is a can of worms? Like, when someone says, I don't want to open this can of worms, great idea, you probably shouldn't. And, like, is that the point? But, like, where did that come from? Like, I try every once in a while to, like, pay attention to what I'm saying and, like, these terms that I'm using. There's so many phases, what is that called? Turn of phrase? Phrases? Whatever. Figure of speeches that I say that, like, I could not tell you the origin of, but, like, I understand, like, the definition. Like, I get when someone says, I don't want to open this can of worms, or this will open a whole can of worms. Like, I get what they're saying. Like, I get it, but, like, what does that have anything to do with anything? Like, can you purchase a can of worms? Because if so, I feel like the can would be pretty low on, the old oxygen, which would mean that the worms wouldn't really be worming so much as just sort of like sardines in a tin. So I'm not really understanding the whole thing. Like, is this like a fishing thing? I've never been fishing. I don't know if that's... Do you buy a can of worms to then attach to those little, like, the hooks, and then put the hooks into the water? Let me Google this really quickly. Can of worms. Like, is this something I can purchase on Amazon? Is it going to go on sale for Prime Day? I'm also now having a memory of, like, there's, like, a Disney Channel, like, not a Disney movie, but, like, the Disney movies that were on TV about worms, I think. Okay, here we go. I'm on the Wikipedia page. It just says can of worms, and it says can of worms is an idiom. What did you just call me? Referring to a slew of subsequent problems and dilemmas arising from a decision or action. Okay, I got that. But why? Like, can you buy a can of worms? Also, love the word idiom. Let's get the translation for that while we're just being linguicians? Is that if you study linguistics, are you a linguician or a linguini? Let's see. An idiom is a phrase or expression that usually presents a figurative, non-literal meaning attached to the phrase. Oh, okay. So it's not real. So you can't buy cans of worms. Can you buy cans of worms? Nothing's popping up. Okay. So it is, like, we are just being dramatic. I can get down with that, obviously. I've made 107 episode catalog of being dramatic, so that's fine. Also, catalog was a dramatic word. Regardless, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to the Nobody Asked for This podcast. I'm sorry I kind of cut straight to the chase there. I normally do a bit of stalling, talk about the weather, talk about what month it is, what season it is, and don't worry, I will get to all of that. If you tune into the Nobody Asked for This podcast, which is not many people that do so, if you tune in for kind of that recap, that life recap in the beginning, you're going to get it. But I had to ask the question, one, before I forgot, but two, while I still had the passion. Anyway, we're in July. We are officially in July. We are officially in summer. I know if you ask certain people, I feel like sometimes people think summer really starts, like, kind of end of May, or like June 1st it's summer. You could actually go by the seasons, which would be like June 22nd. Don't even get me started on that. I think they should rearrange that whole system. But July is undoubtedly summer. And I know that it's July because the summer traffic, or lack thereof, has started. My travel time was cut in almost half. Okay, not half, but like we're down probably 30%. And I will take that. And I hope as more people decide to escape their regular routines, like, I think I'm a huge advocate for, go on vacation. Less people on the road. You should go camping. You should go to somewhere you've never visited before. You should just stay home. Like, whatever you need to do to essentially, like, get out of my way, but not in a rude way. Like, I like community. I sometimes find community in traffic. Like, look around and it's like, okay, we're all sort of on the same path, literally and figuratively. But I also like it for it to not be that way. So, yeah. Anyway, the weather has been up and down. It's still been, like, raining. It's pouring. Old man is snoring. Went to bed, bumped his head, didn't get up till morning. Which, okay, speaking of idioms, that's a spooky song. Is the old man okay? Because he bumped his head. And is it like bumped his head, period, like he was fine, like it was just a little nudge, and then he went to bed and then got up in the morning because you're supposed to get up in the morning? Or are they telling us that he bumped his head, was like knocked out for so long that by the time he got back up, it like 12 hours had passed? Like, what are they really telling us? What is the meaning of this? And I think that's the root question of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. What is the meaning of this? Why? Who, what, where, why, when, and how? The 5 W's and then the 1 H. The H really had to come in and ruin it, because it could have been 6 W's. But actually, let's rectify this now. Who, what, where, why, when, and what's like how? I feel like how is answered in all of those questions, but if we needed to find a synonym for how that started with a W, where to for? Who, what, where, why, when, where to for? Which I don't know if that is a singular word. I am an English major, which means nothing, especially because I did Zoomversity for a good portion of my degree, so it's not actually, like, it's not real. The degree I assume is real, but it's like the actual, like, education that I got is iffy. One, because I had bad Wi-Fi, so it was always like cutting out on Zoom when my professors were talking. 2, because when I did Zoomversity during the pandemic, it was like a lot of the instructors' first time kind of going digital. So, like, it maybe wasn't the most set up, you know? Also, third reason being I just had, like, no motivation. I've said this before, but if I ever need, like, a lawyer, God forbid, or, like, a doctor, I'm just going to ask, like, you know, hey, what year did you graduate? And if it's 2019 or before, perfect. If it's, like, 2021 or after, I have some questions. Like, listen, Mrs. Lawyer person, did you have your textbook open while you were taking the bar? I respect it either way. Like, listen, you had to do what you had to do. But, like, do you actually know the charter or whatever? Like, did you actually study that? Or was this just like a getting by? Because I didn't. I didn't go to law school. I went to English major school, but like let's just be real. Like, I've seen what goes on in Zoomversity land, and I just need to make sure that you know how to be a lawyer. Also, it's so funny, like, I think lawyers always tell you don't be a lawyer. So, like, how bad is it? Because I've thought about being a lawyer. I actually think I'd be a terrible lawyer. In terms of the actual, how do I put this? In terms of the actual doing the job that needs to be done, I think I have the personality. Like, I can kind of, like, talk about nothing. Like, I can do that aspect of the career. There are so many jobs where I'm like, I could do that if I just applied myself. Or, like, if I just wanted to. You know? Like, I could be a lawyer. I think I could do, like maybe therapist, but I think I would talk too much about myself. Like I think I would forget to focus on the task at hand. I think I would just start being like, oh yeah, no, that's really awful. Did you try the new Tim Hortons donut? Which, by the way, I have updates about that. But I think I would just start like chatting, just start yapping, which is a skill that can be used for both good and evil, but maybe not appropriate in all situations. Okay, so getting to the donut news, Tim Hortons has brought back what I think might be like top 3 favorite donuts from them, the Walnut Crunch. Now, do not get distracted by the fact that in the advertisement it looks like a turd, because it does. It looks like a turd. It is like it's a log. It's log shaped for no reason. It doesn't have to be log shaped. They can make it a rectangle. They can make it a square. They can make it a circle. It's log shaped. It's called the Walnut Crunch, but I'm pretty sure like there's like maybe half a walnut kind of stuck in the middle somewhere. You know that Mardi Gras cake? I've never had, but it has like the little baby in it, and then if you like get the baby, you're lucky or something. It's essentially that, like, but with walnuts in a donut. Like it's a very like there's like a tiny little piece of walnuts, and I get it. Listen, Timothy, I get it. Walnuts are expensive. We can't be putting walnuts, by the handful in each donut. But then maybe don't call it a walnut crunch, because then with no walnuts, there's really no crunch. But for whatever reason, it works for me. I don't even love chocolate donuts, but it works for me. And because I am a crazy person who, anytime something is limited edition, I freak out, I have bought 4 and put them in the freezer so that, come 2025, 2026, and I need that walnut crunch or lack thereof. I don't even know what to call it, because it's not crunchy nor walnutty. So when I need like a turd donut, I wonder if that was one of the options. Like when they were thinking of the name, did they do like whiteboard, here are options, turd donut, walnut crunch, and then they're like, oh, well, if we call it walnut crunch, we're gonna have to put a walnut in. And they're like, oh, damn it, okay, whatever. Let's just put like half a walnut, a synthetic walnut, if you will. There are so many titles that I could make this episode. I can think of 7 off the top of my head. But that's a problem for a different hour. Regardless, I encourage all of you, if possible, to find a Tim Hortons and get the Walnut Crunch. I think they have... I don't know how international Tim Hortons is, because it used to be just a Canadian thing, and I kind of have a chip on my shoulder about it not being it anymore. I also don't know what a chip on my shoulder means. Chip on my shoulder. While we're talking of idiom, that's probably an idiom too. Let's check the Wikipedia. Chip on my shoulder. Okay. To have a chip on one's shoulder is to hold a grudge or grievance that readily provokes disputation. I've never heard that word in my life. And I, as an English major, have never heard that word in my life. Disputation is a genre of literature involving 2 contenders who seek to establish a resolution to a problem or establish the superiority of something. I didn't get any of that. Either way, I have and had a chip on my shoulder about Tim Hortons, I believe, being in parts of America, because it was like the one thing we had. Now, I would accept a trade if America gets Tim Hortons and then we get a Dunkin' Donuts. They have UK Tim Hortons? What? I would like to do, if I ever get lucky enough, I would like to do a world tour and travel the country, but like eat at like the chains. That's the problem. That's why I don't deserve to travel, because I would go to like a different continent and be like, oh, I wonder what the McDonald's tastes like here. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't do it properly. And I'm not even like a picky eater at all. Like I'll try anything for the most part. I will try anything that's not alive or never was. Because anytime I'm like, yeah, I'll try anything. They're like, okay, well, would you eat this? I'm like, no. So I will try anything vegan. Even though I'm not particularly a vegan, I'll try anything vegan. And then I would try kind of depending on the type of meat. Although when you really think about it, what's the difference between eating a cow and eating something else that like maybe isn't as common? Like it's still an animal. Should I be vegetarian? I've really thought about it, but then every once in a while I'll go to Popeyes and I'm like, I don't know that I could not eat this ever, you know? Like that chicken sandwich. There's a reason people were waiting in lineups around the block for the chicken sandwich. Most of the time when I see a lineup around the block, I'm like, what is it? Like, what is the meaning of this? Why are people doing this? And then I tried that chicken sandwich and I was like, oh, I get it. Which, speaking of lineup around the block, I tried, not for the first time, but for the first time in a while, I tried crumble cookies. That is crumble without the E, because I guess they're just trying to be fancy. I don't know how long they've existed. It feels new, but I can't really base a company's history on like my own feeling. Let me Google it. Crumble. Okay, 2017. That's not that long ago in terms of like a business. They were pretty good. They're very sweet, and I made the terrible, awful, horrific mistake of looking at, and I didn't even mean to find this information, but I found the like nutritional facts. You guys, I was shocked. I assumed, let's just say this, I saw the data for what I thought to be the whole cookie, and I was like, oh, okay, that's not bad. And to be honest, like, I don't really know, like, I don't know, like, how many grams of this or that you're supposed to have a day, specifically how many grams of sugar. But I saw it and I was like, okay, that's not that bad. And then I realized that information was for like a quarter of the cookie. And they are huge. And I don't know if they're meant to be shared or what, but like I could probably eat like 4. And then I realized that in doing so, okay, I could at least eat 2 and then maybe 3 and 4. And then I realized that in doing so, I would be having like 4,000% of my daily intake of like 4 of the 5 nutrients or whatever on the nutritional label. So, there's that. Other than that, because here's the thing, life is short, eat the cookies is my motto. Let me try and do a from memory review of each of the flavors. Now the problem is I think the flavors change every week, so I could recommend stuff, but you can't find it anymore. So really this is my nightmare of like everything is almost limited edition. Kind of. It's like limited edition in how like pumpkin spice is limited edition. Like you can always, like you'll get it again. You might have to wait a year. How terrible. Can you imagine? I have to make a promise to myself right now that I'm not going to start freezing crumble cookies because I'll do it. I'll do it. Like I one year bought 5 things of eggnog when it was on sale. And I was drinking eggnog till like July. I wonder if I have any left. I can't remember. Me and the freezer are like, I need to start using the freezer for good and not evil. But anyway, the cookies I tried, there was a peanut butter and jelly one that was very good. I believe it was like a peanut butter cookie with jelly and that like raspberry jam swirled in there somewhere. And like peanut butter, but more like the peanut butter that's in a Reese's, not a peanut butter that you get like from the store type peanut butter. So that one was good. There was a lemon cupcake. It did the trick. There was just like a regular chocolate chip. That was great. I still have to try the Costco chocolate chip cookie, so adding that to the list. What other ones was there? I can do this. I couldn't tell you what I had for dinner last night, but I can list you off all 6 crumble cookies that I ate. Oh, there was a chocolate pretzel one that was more in like it was like a pie kind of with like a chocolate filling and some pretzels. Love. Anytime anyone wants to incorporate a pretzel into anything, I'm there. Whether it's just like you want to incorporate a pretzel into my afternoon, perfect. A soft pretzel, even better. Auntie Anne's, whoever. So that was good. I think that's 4. There was 2 more. I can do this. Let me get my visual memory. What else was there? Oh, honey bun. Loved that. Love honey buns. And then I want to say, what was it? I'm so close. I can always almost remember everything. Peanut butter, chocolate chip, pretzel thing, honey bun, lemon cupcake, and it wasn't a cookie. That's why I couldn't remember it. It was like this butter cake. Now what that means, I have no idea. I guess like a pound cake. It was good. Also, while we're just confused, what is a pound cake per se? Let me Google this. Pound cake. Like, is there just like a pound of everything? Okay, pound cake. Wikipedia is the co-host of this episode. Pound cake is a type of cake traditionally made with a pound of each of 4 ingredients: flour, butter, eggs, and sugar. Oh. A pound of eggs? What is a pound of eggs? How many eggs is a pound? 8 and 9 large eggs. Okay, that didn't seem so bad. Also, just to circle the loop on crumble cookies, like you should try them, but like if not, don't worry about it. Like just go to the grocery store and get those like cookies with the icing. They're like sugar cookies with icing. Like that'll do the trick as well. We're closing that loop because I feel like I have started like 17 different conversations and then didn't finish any of them. So I feel comfort in knowing that I took the crumble review from start to finish. Moving on. Speed of lightning. I've never seen at the grocery store eggs in where they told me like the size of them. Everyone's like, use a medium egg, a small egg, a large egg. Like I don't know what that means necessarily. Like I just go to the store and like buy eggs. So like when it says like a small, like is it just like 8 to 9 eggs that to you look large? Or like to you look medium? Like that's confusing to me. I don't know. I usually try, and if I do bake, I love to do like a no bake situation, like a banana pudding, perfect. Or like speaking of pretzels, like a strawberry pretzel with like Jello, or like a graham cracker situation. I think I've talked about my relationship with Cool Whip. I think I am the demographic for Cool Whip. I'm the audience for Cool Whip. I love Velveeta. I love like a imitation something. The last time I tried it, like I don't love Cool Whip. I like frozen Cool Whip that you pretend is ice cream, which like I guess just eat ice cream. But I think maybe the last actual Cool Whip that I had were like it was thawed in the fridge. Like maybe that was just rancid because it tasted quite terrible. And I don't think there's anything much better than just like a bowl of like freshly whipped cream with like some vanilla icing, maybe some almond, or not vanilla icing. Can you imagine? I just said eating whipped cream and icing. I'm hungry. Can you tell? Almond extract and vanilla extract is what I meant. Because I love almond extract. It doesn't taste like almonds to me, but whatever they have going on there is splendid. Okay, in the interest of honesty and transparency, it is about 12 hours after the fact of that first half. I used to pretend that this was all done in one foul swoop. What is that? What is the term? One fell swoop? One fell swoop. I don't know what fell, but apparently the swoop. In the time since I've recorded, I've lived a lot of life. Highlight, I would say, of the past 12 hours, I had an appointment cancel. An appointment that I was supposed to be going to tomorrow morning has been rescheduled, which I have to say, there is no better feeling than... it was a dentist appointment. I wasn't dreading it, but I didn't want to do it. And luckily, I don't have to. Now, the only downside to having something reschedule is when the rescheduled date comes up, I can't help but think this could have been over with. Because this was already a rescheduled appointment. By the time I actually go, it'll be about a month since the actual appointment was supposed to be, which I guess in theory really only delays the inevitable, but also delays my next appointment, my next cleaning. So, I mean, what am I to do? I'm just going to sit here drinking my, what is this, a vitamin water? I'm drinking, it's called Flow. I don't know if people know what that is, but I think it has stevia, which is my least favorite taste on the planet. Like, no offense if you or someone you know got stevia, not good. Not good. And I know it's like natural and comes from a plant, but so doesn't sugar come from a plant? Like, how is sugar like so bad for you? Like, sugar is natural. I get like why Splenda is bad for you. No offense, Splenda. Like, love you anyway, but like you were made in a lab. But like, why is... Let me Google. Why is... Okay, wait. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Is sugar organic? I don't fully know what the word organic means, but we're going to see. Yes, sugars are organic chemicals. What does that mean? Which are described... This is from that top box on Google, but more specifically, vedantu.com. Not sure what that means. So yeah, I guess sugar is organic yet still a chemical. Don't know what to make of that. This organic cherry flavored Flow. I think I thought I was buying kombucha. I like kombucha. I don't know what it is. Sometimes if I start getting the urge for like I should have a Tums, I sometimes drink a kombucha and see if that helps, and it usually does. It's probably 100% a placebo, but I know it has like it's good for your microbiome or whatever. Your gut biome, what's it called? Your gut flora. There was a time in my life, not too long ago, around the time that we started this podcast, where I tried to bring in my microbiome and my gut flora into every conversation. Specifically the word flora was just funny to me. Like, I didn't really get it and still really don't, but it was like, yeah, my gut flora. And it was like, I could talk about something that sounded so silly, but it was technically like scientific. Where my obsession with the gut flora ended was when I realized that literally everything I love and hold dear is damaging to the microbiome. Coffee, hot sauce, probably most menu items at Taco Bell, like nothing. It was all coming up negative for the old flora. So I decided I have to make a choice. Do I want my brand to be black coffee and hot sauce, or kombucha and microbiome? I feel like I've personally found a good marriage of the two, but just kind of forward facing, I went with the more coffee and hot sauce. So cheers to that. I hope everyone is having a great summer so far. Whether or not you started counting it today, 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago, I was reminded by my own self that, get this, ready? Pumpkin spice season technically starts next month. Isn't that crazy? Like, in a month from now, we will be weeks away from the start of pumpkin spice season. In fact, I actually remember either last year or the year before purchasing candy corn in July. Like, we are so close. It's not even funny. I'm so excited. But until then, I will leave you for now. Thank you for listening. If you did, feel free to go to podcastnobodyaskedforthis.podbean.com. And on there you can listen to all of the episodes. You can find links to our Apple Podcasts, our Spotify. We are technically on Twitter, or whatever Twitter's called now. And by now, I mean like for the past year. Technically on Facebook, technically on Instagram. We have a couple TikToks. All of that's on the website. You can also listen on YouTube. We're available widely, hopefully. I actually haven't checked all of those platforms to make sure that it's still updating, but I assume it is. I pay top dollar, $7.99 a month to make sure that happens. So I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye.